Good morning, guys. Welcome to iPad Smart. We're racing today from Fairview on the grass, and the weather conditions is good. A little bit of a wind, a little bit of rain, 2.4 millimeters. So nothing much. 17 millimeters in the last 7 days. So all good to go. We start off in the first, and a little bit of a tricky affair with so many first timers that we don't really know what to expect. So yeah, the first choice is A grade Marmalade, but Senior Duke is an interesting runner for me. Winter Tiger, only runner for Grand Paddock with Richard Fourie with the Flames, is an interesting runner. Whatever next, the favorite Greef and Shane is an interesting runner. Kaplan is an interesting runner, the top rated of all the first timers. Yeah, Girl with the Sword is also Flames for Zietsman and Kennedy. I assume Kennedy is there for the big race, the long one again, and I'm thinking that's in race 7 or 5 or Atyab, yeah. So he's probably here for Atyab today, but so yeah, I've loaded up in the first leg of the PA. In the second leg, judging on the scratching of the Highwayman, I think Golden Pheasant must have a really good chance of winning here. He does have everything in his favor. If you look at the P stats, 11 P stats in Fairview over the 1600 Class E, and he does have the highest percentage to win, a 45% on intent. He also has, now that Highwayman is scratched, he has an 11 length cushion on the back 42 against all the sevens and Sailing Lizard, and on the bat 168 he has a 10 lengths on American Landing. So I think he is probably a good banker for us in the bipot and in the PA, and I've made him a banker in my bipot and my PA. Moving on to the third, and I've got my best bet for the day here today is the Monte. And I've made him a banker in my bipot and in my PA and in my small pick 6 as well. And basically the reason being, first of all, if I'm looking at the P stats, he's got the highest percentage at 25% on exact course and distance bat, and he also has a 20% on total, a 24% on form, a 20% on exotic ranking, and a 20% on exotic percentages, and a 20% on overall ranking to win. And also 20% on intent. If you need explanations of all these, then just click on this rating explained tick. So if I'm opening up the details of this race, I'm looking at the 1400 Fairview Maiden, and he does have a 16.98 on the grass and a 3.46 on the poly 1400. So clearly he seems to be much better suited on the poly than on the grass. But be that as it may, his last run was in yielding conditions, and there was a nice improvement in yielding conditions when Greg Shane was taking the ride rather than Teak Gould, and Greg Shane retains the ride here, and that's 16.98 exact course distance bat, even though he does have a backup of the poly 3.46, it's 13 lengths different. That 16 on grass is still better than anything else in this field. So if you look at Better Days, for instance, which is Zietsman and Kennedy with a stable change, that's a 23 lengths, and best is a 21 lengths. Now that's still 5 lengths better for the Fairview grass than the Kenilworth grass, and he's had his chances with good jockeys Greg Shane and Aldo Doormeyer, and yeah, it was weird that his last runs he was drifting from 14 to 25 and 5 to 16 at Kenilworth, so there wasn't any real expectations on him or real thinking that he's going to perform well. He did perform okay, but yeah, normally there's a bit of a sign that there's some expectations, but there's no expectations when the betting goes from 5 to 16 and from 14 to 25 and from 22 to 66 and from 25 to 40 to 1. So for that reason, I think the Monte is probably a good each way at 3-1 currently, and even some places 70% for a top three. That looks pretty decent for me. If I look further down, the probably one of the biggest potentials is Private Initiative on his last 10.62 bat. That was a 1200 Fairview, and if you compare that to his 1400 Fairview, 29.99 with the 63.35 unadjusted time, and that's a 62.73 on the adjusted time and a 16.98 on the bat. So from a 1400 perspective, the Monte is still better. Pure Quality does have a much improved runner, 2 runs on the 1000 meters, but when he went up to the 1400 meters, he got into a 22, 1200, he got better at the 16. So from what I'm seeing, it doesn't look like the 1400 is going to suit him as much. And then Jaspero, the second favorite, his 1600-meter form, the one time when he ran over the longer distance, was not really any good, and he didn't get any support the previous time either, drifting from 7 to 16. So for that reasons, I'm with the Monte as my best bet on the card today. Moving to the fourth race, here is a bit interesting because the bat figures is much worse than the industry average. In fact, the best one is 8.52 lengths worse than the industry average for a Class G 2000 meter at Fairview. So I see this as a very open race, and there's a lot of flames here. Cape Battis with Wakotwa, Wild Earth with Ferraris, Chai with Furi, Let's Mambo has a chance, Silver Louise with Larina has a flame, Red Rules has a flame, and Queen Louise with Warren Kennedy also has flame. So the first ones that I've got as the intentions looks like there's a lot of them, and from the intentions I think Sharon Kotson has Cape Battis and Wild Earth, and they probably both have some good intentions, and my third is Chai. Now Jock Strydom has Richard rebooked for Chai at 14 to 1, and he's quite a superior jockey to what has been on top of Chai. And on top of that, he does have the best green bat 42 of 17.35. So if any of these red bats does like the distance, then they are all dangers. Samara, Immaculate, Tropical Diva, Queen Louise. But Chai is the best of the green bats, which is within the 200 meters of today's distance. So very open. I've gone 7, 9, 2, 8, and 12, and I've added 3 in the Big Six as well. In the fifth race, here Atyab does have the way superior bat form. If you look at him, 4 lengths versus Miss Orange, he read 14, and then Take the World 24, Crystal Stream 25. So he's probably also a banker, but it's just too obvious for me. So you could either bank him or you can load up, and I've gone the option of loading up because he'll be everyone's banker. So I've gone with Atyab, Aranjuez, and Crystal Stream as my 3 in the bipod PA, and I've added the 4, the 5, and the 3, as well as the 6 in my pick 6 for the bigger perm. So yeah, I'm expecting Atyab to win, but my biggest concern here for Atyab is his intentions is very low. If you look at his intentions, Atyab is third on the even with onesie, and you've got Aranjuez and Africa's Gold on top of him, ahead of him. So there's no value, there's no pace setter for Atyab. There's much more intentions from Jock Strydom that's entered 4 in this race. So I'm going to probably be going a little bit of each way on Aranjuez, and I'd probably not be bankering Atyab. Celestial Stream has some intentions with 47.5 kilos on his back. He does come up with the overall ranking, the best at 40% overall ranking for an 18 to 1 shot. And Atyab is a 50% chance for a 15 to 10 shot. So you can see where I'm going with this. Even Miss Orange has a 20% on median speed and 30% on Africa's Gold on super rule percentage. So there's too many question marks for me in this race. That's why I've got a little bit of cover. In the sixth race, it's also quite a difficult one, the last leg of Bipot, in my opinion. And yeah, Colorado Springs, the favorite, is first rated, and yes, Musical Glitch is second rated, but none of them has the best bat 42 form, which goes to my third choice, Under the Mistletoe, with Zitz, Westhuizen, and Warren Kennedy. So at the very least, I think you should be entering Zitz and Warren in your pick six as well, given that these back figures here does have superior form, and a 50% on exact distance, medium speed make Under the Mistletoe one that you have to include in your bet here. My fourth choice, Princess of Fire. My fifth is Zeta Jones. So I've gone 1, 4, 5, 2, 6. And in the pick six, I've added the 7. Now my third one that looks pretty decent for today is Old Glory. Now Europeana is the favorite here at even money, and Old Glory is at 5 to 1. But Old Glory to me looks a better each way proposition. Old Glory has a lot of, it's got 20% on overall ranking, 29 on greenie points, 30% on form, 30% on intent, and 30% on T-curve, versus Europeana's 41% chance on opening betting, and Silent Observers 35 on adjusted time and 25 on speed rating. So if I look at the detail on Old Glory, if this time is correct, and I'm not doubting that it could be correct, 1000 meters Fairview in yielding conditions, an adjusted time of 54.66. Now that's pretty much low flying. 99.8 speed rating over the 1000 meters, and 100.44 over the 800 meters means he's the course record holder over the 800 meters, and he's just under the course record over the 1000 meters. So it does look like the step up in distance and the improvement, he went from a 56.11 in good going over the 1800 meters to a much improved 54.66 in yielding going, and he was expected to win. Both of them was at 5 to 10 and even dropped back into 3 to 10. So he's definitely expected to win here. He does carry 2.5 kilos more. So on collateral form, all of these that has run against him before could be his biggest dangers. Like on the same day, Grace Lightning on that run was at 4.3, so that's 1.25 lengths behind him. And Grace Lightning is carrying 5.5 more, where Old Glory is carrying 2.5 more, so that's an extra 3 kilos. So he should beat Grace Lightning. And Jewel of Doha as my third choice. He's got a kennel with 59.8, and he also has to carry 2.5 kilos more. And Europeana is the favorite, but quite frankly, if you run a 60.1 adjusted time at Kenilworth in good going, then it's not that great. He does carry only the same, but it looks like Old Glory should have them all covered here, given what I'm seeing in front of me. If those figures, if that adjusted time is actually correct and that speed rating is correct. Maybe one to mention at the bottom here is this interesting sports socks. It doesn't pop up in the ratings because Gates takes the ride and not Mokotwa, which means that Silent Observer is probably the choice for the stable. But Pot Socks was a very decent 55-57 on the adjusted time, and he was expected to win at 15 to 10, and he's come second twice. So interesting that Mokotwa has decided to go on Silent Observer instead. Silent Observer did finish second on that same run behind Old Glory on the 26th of February. He was 3 lengths ahead of Old Glory, but today he's carrying 5 kilos more, and on top of that he was at 20 to 1 where Old Glory was at 5 to 10. So to me, Old Glory is a nice value pick at 5 to 1 for all of those reasons. Maybe if you don't want to banker him, then the 3, the 4, the 2 and the 8 is probably the next best. moving on to the last race then. And here I have Sharon Kotson, 14 to 1, with Mokotwa on Mouse on Over as the top rated at 14 to 1. Tara Lang and Chase Majan is my second rated. Chainsaw at 14 to 1. And Precious Stone at 30 to 1 is my third choice, with Beyond Temptation at 20 to 1, my fourth choice. And Looks Like Magic, the favorite, is popping in as my fifth choice. So, doesn't look easy. It is a 68 handicap merit rating, and that in itself says quite a bit. The fact that we have a 30 to 1 with the best bat C, the bat curve, which is the 8-month consistency reward. So over the last 8 months, and these are just calculations, so everyone's got the same chance to get these 2.9 lengths better than Looks Like Magic, the favorite, and he's at 30 to 1 Precious Stone. On top of that, he does get Calvin Hubbub, and Calvin Hubbub's a 50% chance to win in place for Jog Straight On. So there's a little bit of intentions there for me, and a top 4 place for me on Precious Stone is maybe not a bad play, but I'll be hedging Mouse on Over and Chainsaw and Precious Stone and Beyond Temptation at 14, 14, 30 and 20 to 1 to one of them beat the favorite at 4 to 1. Because if you hedge all 5 of them, then the worst you can do is if the favorite wins, then you just get your money back. But if any of those other 4 wins, then you get like 3 times your money back. So that should be the play in the last race. Hey guys, that's it for me. Have a great day. Please leave your comments and your likes, or and subscribe to the channel to get notifications on any further videos. Have a great day.